The cost of living just keeps getting worse and people are tired. Groceries are expensive, rent is through the roof, insurance has always been a pain. People are sick of it and they're not wrong.
Would you like to know how much these 2 bags of groceries cost in the United States in October 2025? Let's find out together.
I'm so tired of working so much and not having anything left over to show for it. Nothing. So sick of anytime I turn on in the TV, I get, oh, we're winning. We're winning. America is so fucking hot.
So I was just out on a walk right now and check out these homes next to this path that I'm on. I was looking these homes up on Zillow.
I would like for you to tell me how much you think my rent is or how much you think it should be based off of the apartment tour I'm about to give you. And then at the end, I'm going to tell you how much I actually pay, and you're probably going to be shocked.
How are people affording life right now? How are people tackling this cost of living?
It's becoming impossible for regular Americans to rent and to even live on the wages that are being paid.
If you're struggling, why don't you just move? Why don't you live somewhere cheaper? Do y'all know how much it costs to move?
Guess how much this guy spent on groceries for one meal.
Would you like to know how much these 2 bags of groceries cost in the United States in October 2025? Let's find out together. I just went to the store to get groceries for tonight's dinner, so keep that in mind. This is for one meal, all right? This is the first bag. We have a zucchini. My first name also starts with Z, so for Alphabet Day in kindergarten, I made zucchini bread. Well, my dad made zucchini bread, but I brought it in. I have a fondness for the zucchinis. Some white mushrooms. And in bag 1, we have a little bit of ginger. If you couldn't tell, I'm going to be making some curry tonight. All right, off into bag 2, we have a bag of spinach. Pre-washed, triple wash. That's a lot of washing. Got some naan bread. We have some crushed tomatoes because I don't trust the real tomatoes here in the States. They taste like styrofoam. An onion, one with layers, just like an ogre. Coconut milk for the curry. A spicy chili pepper. We have a thing of cashews. And last thing we got, I treated myself. I got some manchego cheese from Spain. All in all, I got 11 things. Now, before I tell you how much I paid for this, I want you to tell me where you live in the world and how much you think that you would pay for this. And also give me your best guess as to what number I'm about to say. All right, you ready? For 11 items, I paid $40.38. You heard that right, $40 for one dinner, okay? Obviously, I'll have some leftover spinach and cashews. What's the point? I might as well just eat out at a restaurant if it's this expensive just to shop. I don't know about you, but I am so excited for day 1 when apparently all of these prices are going to go down. Any day now. Seriously, I really just don't understand how we are expected to pay for groceries anymore. It is so unbelievably expensive just to live, just for one dinner. I can't do it anymore. My solution is I'm just straight up moving to another country, but I don't know what else to do. Otherwise, I just sit here and complain for the rest of my life about grocery prices, but I don't want to do that, and I don't think you want to hear me do that, so that's what I'm doing. What do you think about these prices? I mean, just between the cheese and the nuts alone, it's $20. That was half the bill. And I hate to be cheesy here, but that's nuts.
Spending $20 on just cheese and nuts is ridiculous. Since when did cheese get so expensive? No matter how expensive groceries get, I don't think moving to another country is the answer. I'd rather pay $20 for some cheese and crackers than go live in the mountains in some favelas in the middle of nowhere. This woman is about to crash out.
I'm so tired of working so much and not having anything left over to show for it. Nothing. So sick of anytime I turn on in the TV, I get, oh, we're winning. We're winning. America is so fucking hot. To who? And who describes a country as hot? Oh, I've worked so hard the last 3 weeks, and look, everything in front of me is sold. I sold all of it, right? I sold all the after I pay my electric bill, which was $400 for a one-bedroom house. I will then, and I bought 170 whatever worth of groceries last night. I will now have to choose making the car payment or trying to buy some school clothes for my kid. And then I won't even have enough money left to buy more inventory to stay in business. In November, I was set to scale my business to open a bunch of Amazon storefronts. I had 3 per diem employees, hiring other women in the recovery community to come up here and help me package orders and everything. I survived human trafficking. All I want is to have a peaceful, quiet life. I want to raise my kids so that they don't. I'm trying to break this generational. My dad was an alcoholic. I was an addict. Like, I'm 8 years sober, and I see these behaviors in my kids that are concerning. My son Aiden will like bite his arm when he's up. He's two. Negative attention-seeking behaviors. And he knows if he does it, I'll drop everything I'm doing to. Don't do that, baby, please. What's going on, Bo? I'm with my oldest. Like, he's on the spectrum, but he's still having accidents every single day, pooping his pants. He knows that whatever's going on, I will drop everything I'm doing to do that. And it's just like,
A lot of people feel this way. They just want to be able to pay their bills and raise their children. At this point, it just seems like you have to have at least 2 jobs to be able to afford the basic necessities. Look at the prices of these homes.
So I was just out on a walk right now, and check out these homes next to this path that I'm on. I was looking these homes up on Zillow, and you're looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of $615, $625, $650 in some cases for these really tiny houses. I mean, they're not very big. You can see the properties they're sitting on are tiny, and yet people want $650,000 for these homes at what, 6.25% interest rates? Like, no wonder nobody can afford anything.
Over $500,000 for what it looks to be like homes in the middle of nowhere. And there's even talk about 50-year mortgages. It looks like you'll never own a home. If you're enjoying this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe for more content. The housing crisis is real.
I would like for you to tell me how much you think my rent is, or how much you think it should be based off of the apartment tour I'm about to give you. And then at the end, I'm going to tell you how much I actually pay, and you're probably going to be shocked. So we're going to start here at the front door. I do live in an apartment complex, and we are on the 2nd floor. So this is the front door. You come in. To the right, there is a hall closet that I just use for the trash can, and obviously the cat food, because now they're going crazy since I opened the door. So just a little storage closet. Keep going around, and we've got the kitchen. No new appliances. They're all old appliances. No new countertops. It's like the really crappy laminate countertops. The dishwasher barely works. Don't be fooled by the nice fancy faucet. I installed that myself. It's mine. I also took the cabinet doors off of these 2 cabinets to give myself some open shelving, and it's really cute. And also, don't mind the dirty apartment because I did not clean up for this. Attached to the kitchen, we have the living room. It's all an open concept. There's nothing separated, no dining room or nothing. So I have the living room here. This is my ceiling fan. I installed this myself. There was not one here. There was a plug in the ceiling for electrical, so I knew I could put one there, so I didn't install electrical myself, don't worry. But this is my ceiling fan. It did not come with the apartment. Another view of the living room from the other side. The carpet is not new at all. It was not replaced before we moved in. It's not like dirty or gross or smelly or anything, thankfully, but it was not new when we moved in. That's also my light fixture. I did that one also myself. We do have a decent sized balcony, which I love. All of our other balconies have been really small, so I love the size of this one, and the cats love going outside. And that's it. That's our whole entire apartment. Now I want you to guess how much our rent is. We are in Connecticut, if that helps. So put your guesses down below, and in a sec I will tell you what we actually pay. So for our rent with fees and everything, because there's always your base rent and then they always add on your fees, like amenity fees, trash fees. So rent with all of our fees and everything, $2,000 a month for a 750 square foot apartment. A 1-bedroom apartment. How are people ever able to afford to buy a house and like move up in the world? I have absolutely no idea.
$2,000 for a 1-bedroom is insane. How are people expected to save for a home? Unless you're in the top 10% of earners in this country, it seems almost impossible to save up for a home. By the time she saves up enough money for a down payment, she's going to be near her retirement age. This economy is getting ridiculous. This man just unlocked a new cheat code.
How are people affording life right now? How are people tackling this cost of living?
Personally, I'm not. I had to move out of San Diego. I'm from Southern California, but it's too expensive. Even with full-time work, I had 2 full-time jobs, working on the weekends and at night and in the morning. I still couldn't save up enough money for a deposit for a studio apartment or anything, frankly. So I had to make a change. Right there is the border wall with Mexico and the United States. One side is San Diego, one side is Tijuana. Now I live on the Tijuana side. While the difference is only 2 blocks, I have a substantially cheaper cost of living. Currently, I'm renting a studio apartment for about $100 a week. I've seen comparable priced places going as far as a 2-bedroom with the same price point, $400 or $500 a month. The same kind of place in San Diego, 2 blocks away, would cost you upwards of $1,500 to $2,000 or $3,000. To go to work, I cross the border in the morning. A few times a week, I do Amazon Flex shifts, and in about 2 full-time days, I pay my rent for the month. The thing is, I don't go every day because it's kind of a headache. So while I technically earn less, I have a greater purchasing power effectively. So 5 months ago, basically, I moved to Tijuana and went from being full-time employed with 2 jobs, living in my van for years because I couldn't save the deposit, to having an apartment and having transportation and a pretty decent paying job relative to my cost of living. But isn't it dangerous? Isn't it unsafe? A little bit, it can be. But literally, as I'm saying that, the police roll by. There's constantly a presence, so it does feel a little bit safe for that reason. Living in your car is not safe either. Being in your car is you're harassed all the time. You're bothered by strangers trying to steal your stuff. That's not a good life either. So while it's not a perfect solution, it's a solution for now, and it works, and I've improved my quality of life by moving 2 blocks. Follow for more about the cost of living in Mexico.
Rent is so bad he had to move to another country. How many of you would do the same thing? Yes, it's a smart way to save money, but at the same time, that's sad. He really needs to do all of that just to be able to afford a living. Is she paying too much for a 2-bedroom apartment?
So I was reading in an article that came across my feed on one of these platforms, most likely on the Blue Dot app, that it's becoming impossible for regular Americans to rent and to even like live on the wages that are being paid, even at $20 an hour. Like, this is probably the most money any average person with no like high degrees has ever made, because this is the type of money that only people with degrees used to make, remember, back in the day. And if we would have known that the cost of living would be so high, and you say people are making $30 an hour, 35, even $40 an hour, and these are regular like factory jobs. Cost of living, I mean, everybody should be living comfortably, right? You would think. We just got this apartment because we're moving from our other residence, and we are fully moved in because we got to get things, but we're moved in, and it's so small in here. I swear, this little apartment in the apartment complex that we got, $1,300 for 2 bedrooms and small space, small kitchen, everything. My daughter and I moved in a rush. We got this place, so it's like, not trying to put our business out there, but like things just happened and we had to scramble, and but $1,300 for a small 2-bedroom. Who remembers when these apartments were $600, $500? I'm talking way back in the day. Remember when apartments were $350 a month and you can live nice and our dollars went? I mean, I'm talking about old days, and I know that's no longer the case anymore, but that's crazy. And the apartments and the rents have been rising. I want to say within the last 5 years. Like, everything just changed in the last 5 years. It's becoming almost impossible. So I want to know what they're going to do about this now, because yeah, it's all good for the ones who have the money to survive in such times as this, but what about the regular people? You know, we shouldn't have to compete for jobs that are jobs like the retail jobs. And you know why I say it? Because I have a lot of work experience in different areas. I don't got them high degrees because I was a single mom, and it's not an excuse, but I was raising my kids. And now that I'm in my 40s, almost 50 years old, I got to look back into getting a small type of certificate or a small little degree just to get a decent paying job to pay bills.
$1,300 for a 2-bedroom apartment in this economy seems like a good deal to me, but seeing it from her perspective, like she said, she's working these retail jobs, so of course about 80% of her income will be going towards her rent. And how could anybody sustain that? And that's the case for many folks in this country. Even the people with degrees are getting fired and they can't find jobs. No one talks about the cost to move to a cheaper place.
If you're struggling, why don't you just move? Why don't you live somewhere cheaper? Do y'all know how much it costs to move? I've been a homeowner my entire life, and I'm very blessed to be able to say that. Since I was 18, built my first house, I've owned my own home. But last year, my little one and I moved to Phoenix from rural Arkansas for a good job opportunity, so I'm still very blessed. Don't take it that way. I'm very thankful. But we're renting. For the first time in my life, I'm a renter. We started out in an apartment just while we were looking for somewhere to live, and then we found a house in the school district that I wanted. But honestly, the house is a little bigger than what we need, and it costs a little bit more than I want to spend, because the boys and I really want to prioritize life and living life, and not a home, not a house. We want our home. Our home doesn't have to be a certain house. So another home came up in our neighborhood. Bright can stay in the school district, and it is so much cheaper. Still a really nice house, just a little bit smaller. We're not giving up a whole lot. We're just saving some money. Each time that I've moved, I've had to pay the deposit again. And the reality is I keep a very clean house, a very nice house, but they never give you your entire deposit back. It just doesn't happen. So you have to pay generally 1 times the rent up front as the deposit, plus a cleaning deposit, and then I do have a dog, so I have a dog deposit. You could do away with that part of it. So let's just go off the apartment, which was the 2-bedroom, nothing fancy, 3rd floor. I think the rent was $1,600 a month, so I had to pay that, plus the deposit for the dog, so like $300, and then a cleaning deposit, which is another $300. So I'm already paying $2,200. This is just the deposit. Then I gotta pay the first month's rent too, which is another $1,600. That was the cheapest. That was the 2-bedroom apartment that we were in. So for just that apartment, for me to just move in, it was $4,000 up front, or a little more. Who has that? Because you still have to pay to turn on your water, you have to pay to turn on your electric, you have to pay to all of the things that you have to survive. People can't afford it. Even if it's going to save them money in the long run, they don't have the upfront money to do it. So if you're in a position that you can and you think it's that easy, just be thankful. Don't judge people because they cannot. That's a whole month's worth of income or more for some people. People who are working full-time, working hard jobs, they don't have $4,000. So the next time you think it's so easy, just move, you might want to think about that a little bit.
She also didn't mention that if you want to break your lease, you're also going to have to pay a fee. $4,000 to move? Most people don't have that in their bank account. They're living paycheck to paycheck. People really are screwed because even when they want to save money, that also seems impossible. You can try contacting your landlord to see if they have cheaper properties around the area and ask them if they can waive any fees from moving from one place to another. That's one way of having to avoid the extra cost of putting down a new deposit and paying those new fees. If you enjoyed this video, check out the one on screen right now about Section 8 collapsing. A new law is being discussed that can potentially put an end to the program.